Alright, so we're going to be in the T100 LT, guys, on Miravanka, and I wanted to show you this game that I almost brought back pretty much just by doing damage, right? And I just recorded a video where I told you guys doing damage at tier 10 is very important because HP and damage per shot do not necessarily correlate perfectly as you go up the tiers, right? I feel like tanks hit a lot harder, but tanks don't necessarily have a lot more HP, especially light tanks, right? You only have 1500 HP. There's a couple of tanks in the game that could one-shot this thing, many tanks that could two-shot it, right, at these tiers, and you want to be really, really careful. But you also have 300 damage a shot on the T100 LT. I think on the Manicore it's even more, and I want to show you guys why I would rather, especially in the higher tiers, why I would rather retreat and use my gun than stay as long as I can in a certain area and try and get as much spotting as I can, right? The higher up I go in the tiers, the more I use my gun because I just feel like that is what's really going to make the difference between possibly, winning a game and possibly losing a game. So we're going to advance here a bit. I'm just going to show you this game, the beginning of this game, kind of on a fast forward, so you can get an idea of what we're doing here. We spot the rhino. He's actually right here. I look this way because I thought I spotted him over here maybe. But we're poking up here. I'm going to go to my camera view, slow it down, and just show you how we're countering this FV4005. I don't think he chose the best area to sit. He probably thinks he won't get lit here, but the FV4005, it has no concealment at all, guys. It has no camo, so it's very, very easy, and the 183 as well, right? You can see how far I spotted this guy away from, like 430 or 20 meters away we spotted this guy. These things just don't have any camo because they're such big vehicles with such big guns, right? And that's just the way they are. So as soon as I poke up here, I'm going to be able to, or as soon as the FV pokes up and I'm sitting here, I'm going to counter him every time, man. We're going to be able to spot him with CVS, and we're trying to get a little bit of spotting here. I'm going to try and poke up, hit this rhino, and then the FV appears again. I'm going to hit him, and we're countering the FV. We're not really doing a lot of spotting because I'm spotting the FV myself and getting the shots into him myself, right? And we're trying, right, man? I mean, I'm sitting here, I'm getting a shot into the rhino, I'm getting a shot into the FE, I'm trying to do whatever I can do to help my team over here, and it's really not a lot of spotting, it's a lot more damage, right? But we're spotting the Progetto coming in, again, spotting these two guys, and my team just isn't in the right areas to do damage against these guys. They're brawling it out on this side of the map, which is completely understandable. On the eastern side, like of the east part of the map, they're over here. They're not really concerned with trying to run down this bush line or anything. It's very, very risky for them to do that. So because I'm uncontested here, I haven't seen the light tanks, right? Everyone is spotted on the map, by the way. If you look at all these bulbs, this is why I like XVM, because XVM blows up these bulbs like this. So you can see that everyone's been spotted on the map, and the 105 could always, come around and change his location quite rapidly. You could do that in light tanks. I do that all the time. I'm always trying to find different areas, but I feel like I'm in the best spot right now. I always feel like the eastern portion of Miravanka is the more important side of the map, so I'm trying to do everything I can do to help this team out. But the reality of the situation is that whatever we are doing here, it's not enough. And even if I pick the perfect location and I don't know, I supported these guys even better than I did support them, we're going to lose this side of the map. It's just the case. We're down 5 tanks, man. The west is holding fine, but we're just not getting it done on the east side of this map. These guys are annihilating us on the east side of this map. And here's where I decide to retreat, guys, okay? And I'm going to pause because a lot of people would probably look at this and go, you ran away too soon. I think you ran away too soon. We have a UDES here. We have a 140. They're both close to full HP. Whirls, you could have maybe stayed in this area, like right here, and tried to continue spotting maybe for your team. Or maybe you could have went over here and try and spot these guys coming in. Sure, absolutely. We could try and pick a different spot here and maybe try and do a little bit more spotting damage and damage. But here's the thing, guys. Look at how many people are over in this area, right? The thing is, if you end up going out here, it's very likely that once these two guys fall, the UDES and the 140, I'm going to get whacked trying to retreat from here, no matter how quick I am about it, right? Again, we could try and go out here and spot. Maybe we could have done it perfectly and stayed like another 30 seconds and then ran away, and maybe we would have gotten the FV one more shot or something like that. But I'd always rather come back in these situations as soon as I sense that one side of the map is going to be gone. Like, I don't, especially a tier 10, man, I don't even try and risk it. Maybe if I was in a tier 6 game, I would try and make one of those plays. But in this situation against tier 10 vehicles, man, I always come back, retreat, and try and do damage as these guys push in. So I'm going to try and get a shot into the Rhino. I'm going to reload. I'm going to try and get a shot into the UDES. I'm going to reload. And as these guys are coming into the 140, I'm trying to do damage rather than spot them. We don't need to spot them because they're all pushing in right already, and the UDES and the 140 are basically going to be doing the spotting for us because they haven't retreated yet, right? And that's the thing, is like, I could be out there trying to spot, right? Like, now that these tanks have gone dark because of the UDES, you could argue, yeah, Whirls, well, maybe you should be here, or maybe you should be here. But can you imagine if I got spotted or somehow outplayed, and look, the 430 is already over here. So even if I went here, this 430 would have rushed in, I would have spotted him maybe for 10 seconds, and I would have had to run, right? And it's like, you can get overwhelmed so quickly, guys. You have to understand, like, in a situation like this, man, it's just better to come all the way back, retreat, and try and do damage to, you know, remove some HP from this side of the map, because at this point we're only going to be able to bring back so much, and I'd rather use my gun. I would really rather use my gun in the situation. And as this guy is kind of dying here, I'm seeing if I can maybe get shots into the M5Y, maybe get shots into the UDES, continue getting shots to whoever it is that's pushing in, right, and try and help this guy for as long as I possibly can, spotting the 430U as he comes in. So we got a couple shots into the Rhino. We did our best to try and help this team, but this is what I do, guys. You know, this is what I do. I'd always rather do more damage when it comes to these situations, and there's other players that play very differently than me, especially Steel Guts. I feel like Steel Guts is one of those players that wants to try and stay as long as he possibly can on one side of the map and try and get some spotting damage. But look at this, man. Like, we're all the way back here ready. The Manicore comes around. He spots me while I'm right here. So can you imagine if I was all the way up here and the Manny spotted me, and like, I could have got wrecked, right? Luckily, we only take one from the Manny and we continue running away. And this is why I play like this, guys. You know, I really want to show you this video and emphasize why I like to stay alive. We're able to help in cleaning up the Progetto there. Because at this tier, man, when you do 300 damage a shot, it's so important to keep your gun in the game, man. Like, we could have tried to risk it all to get the 183 one shot or something like that on one of these enemies, but in my opinion, it's better to do that kind of spotting when you have multiple teammates that you're going to be spotting for, and the map is like, the enemy team isn't just, you know, pushing all in at once, right? Like, in this situation, that side of the map was gone. All the enemies were pushing in, and once that happens, man, you just need to get out, man. I'm telling you guys, like, please just, if you're in this situation, run away, man. I don't care what people say. If people want to call me a pussy, whatever, man. But this is the thing. You're in a light tank, guys. You have no armor. Like, you don't have any HP. You don't have any of these things. Like, you need to just run away and try and use your gun from a distance. That's what you need to do. You need to use your mobility. That's why you have mobility, right? So we're trying to get a shot into the FV here, and I'm just constantly trying to continue finding new areas where I can at least sort of spot these guys as they come in, kind of getting a light on the 430 here, and I guess the FV is spotting him as well, but the FV goes down so fast there. Like, this guy, in my opinion, could have been like back here and just poked very carefully and kind of let me poke up in this bush and spot the 430 as he's coming in. We're running out of map though, right? But I'm going to try my best to still continue to attempt to spot even for my FV. Manicore comes around the corner here. We're able to put one shell into him, and now we're in a situation where this game's going to be over, but I'm going to try and fight off the enemy team as best I can. I've already done 3,700 damage as this enemy team pushed in. UDES appears here. I'm going to take a shot from him because he pokes up kind of stupidly, and I'm going to get that shot into him because it's worth it. At this point, I know he's a one-shot, and I can easily kill him because he exposed his whole tank. This guy comes around, tries to get a shot into me, the 430U. We're able to clean him up as well, and then you're going to see the FV appear over here. We're able to snapshot that guy as well, and this is why doing damage is so important, man. Like, this was the only FV 4005 on their team. They had two FV 183s, but because we did so much damage to this 4005 at the beginning of the game, that now made him, at this point, someone else probably did some damage to him as well, but that now made him a one-shot for me. We're able to clean him up and just do damage, guys. I'm telling you, like, I know I sound like a broken record in this video, but doing damage is going to be more effective for getting your team a win than spotting is in, I would argue, like a lot more situations, right? And in other words, if you have the choice between doing some spotting damage and doing some damage, doing damage is more likely to get you a win than doing the spotting damage on most maps in most situations, especially at these tiers where you can do 300 damage a shot, right? Now, those situations where spotting is going to be more effective is when you have big guns behind you that can do way more damage than you can, right? And a lot of them, right? Like we had one 183 back here, and again, I could have given him one shot, but then it's like, what, a 40-second reload that he has? And by then, the whole enemy team would have already pushed in. So we're able to clean up the TVP there. I start running away. The M5Y appears over here. I would have never guessed he would have been over here. I would have thought he would be coming down the middle or like down this way because he was last spotted like here or something like that. And I got unlucky here, guys. That's really what it is. Like I could have tried to think about it and go, maybe the M5Y pushes me here. But at some point, I wanted to try and get out of this location, right? Because the mana core was at 43 HP, and though he's a one-shot, to me, I'm a one-shot to him as well. And what I want to do is go dark and then get to a different area of the map. Once you start bringing a game back to the point where it's really, really close, which, by the way, guys, it was really, really close. 2 shots into the M5Y. We got 1 into him here, but I only needed, up to this point, as I'm running away, 1 shot to the Manny and 2 into the M5Y, and then we just would have had to deal with Artie. And how do we do that? How do we get the game that close? By doing 5,000 damage in this game, right? And look at the spotting, 344. So again, like anyone can say what they want about this, but I feel like if we had done like 2,000 spotting or something and only like 3,000 damage, I don't think this game would have even been as close, even though the damage numbers would have been the same. But I feel like by me doing the damage throughout this whole game, it paid off more, right? I don't know how else to explain this, guys. I'm just telling you, like, this is how I feel, especially when I play these higher tiers. Like, I want to be kind of like a damage machine because I feel like when you have 300 damage a shot, it's so important to use your gun, man. You know, this is why I love playing tanks like the Lynx now, the Hawk 30, these tanks that do a lot of damage per shot, because I find that it's kind of like situational using your gun, especially on some maps, right, where you can only get 1 shot off and then someone's going to pull away from you. That's why I always find I'm doing more damage in the Lynx, more damage in the Hawk 30 than I do in like the LT 432, even though it has turret armor, because it's the damage per shot, not the DPM, right? Like I find that I'm never getting into DPM battles. I'm always just getting into these little situations where I need the damage per shot, right? And this is where it paid off in this game. But anyway, guys, really, really close, right? We only needed 2 more shots into the M5Y, 1 more into the Manny, and then we would have had to deal with Artie, and that's it. But I wanted to just end this video by saying you want to start, like, once you get a game this close, you want to start being unpredictable towards the end. Because if I had stayed here the whole game, well, then everyone's going to push in and they're going to kind of know where I'm at, right? And I don't want that. I want people to not know where I'm at. And we're dealing with the Manny, who also has really, really good view range. So I just wanted to get to a different area. I want to be unpredictable. I wanted to try and maybe come to the forest and start just figuring things out from there, like poking up in the forest, seeing if I can spot anybody or whatever, or probably just even coming back to, like, I don't know, this corner or something and seeing if they're going to cap out, right? Like, it kind of just depends on what the enemy team does, but you don't want to stay in one area. You really don't, because then, like, these people are going to know you're there, or they're at least going to think you're there. If you even move just, I don't know, a couple hundred feet away and then they go over there, then you have the shot, right? Do you guys understand what I'm saying? So, like, if I was last spotted here and I just went up like this and sat here, right, and then the mana core went like this, well, then I'd have a shot like that. That's what you want to do. That's how you get the angles. you need to be unpredictable at the end. You don't want to just sit in one spot. Obviously, if you're a heavy tank, you can only do so much. If you're in a big tank destroyer, you can only do so much. But with a light tank, you have the mobility, so use the mobility. So that's what I was trying to do here. Unfortunately, the M5Y appears. He spots me. We're really, really close to him. I get one shot into him, and that's the game, guys. We did 5k damage. It is what it is, man. But I think I've explained everything I wanted to explain in this video, guys. 48, 26 damage, 5 kills, 652 experience. Your top eye experience here, top eye damage. I did everything I could to try and bring this one back. We just couldn't quite do it. But damage, guys, right? Damage, damage, damage. Here is the personal score. 6 modular damage, by the way, 5 kills. It was only a third-class game, probably because we lost. And here you go, guys. Here's the detailed report. That's all for this one. Hope you learned a thing or two. Hope you enjoyed. I will catch you for the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.